Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. This episode wasn't even planned. Duke just ripped my heart out, spat on it. Not even because I don't like Duke that much, but had a lot going on. Lot invested in Duke in a couple of my brackets, couple bets. So we are ripping a little 2022 NFL mock draft. Take my mind off my sorrow. Let's get into this mock. Before we do, obviously, we appreciate you guys with all the support you guys have given us. I've enjoyed so much just chopping it up with you guys in the comment section. It's been a blast. Let's get in the mock. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. All these picks coming from me. Interesting that Kyle Hamilton's the number 2 prospect after that 40. We're going to take Aidan Hutchinson. I think this is a no-brainer pick. I'm going to go Kayvon Thibodeaux for the Detroit Lions just because I think he's like the next best player. I think Kyle Hamilton has an argument. That being said, you can't get that many preliminary edge guys like Kayvon Thibodeaux. It's a deep class for edge, but I think it's also top heavy. I think Kayvon Thibodeaux, Aidan Hutchinson are pretty clearly the top guys. Obviously, you could throw Travon Walker in there. You guys know I don't really throw him in there. But Houston Texans on the clock at 3. This is where you could really just go with anybody. I watched some Kyle Hamilton film earlier just because I was worried about the speed. He's still so good. I watched his film against Cincinnati. He's all over the field. It's a chalky pick. I think the Texans got to just start building that offense. Gone are the times where defense wins championships. You got to draft on the offense side of the ball. And I think they got to go with the top tackle on the board, and that's going to be Charles Cross. I know people aren't going to like it, but Charles Cross is the best pass protector in the game. That's who you need starting at tackle for the Houston Texans. The New York Jets are going to take Kyle Hamilton. The speed concerns, I don't see it on the film. Did you ever worry about Kyle Hamilton's speed before he ran a 40-yard dash? No, he's super long. He's very instinctive. I think that makes up for a lot of what you call a speed concerns. Dude's a freak athlete, generational guy. And also, he's going to bring so much value covering those big tight ends. Like that, kind of like what Derwin James does. I think there's a lot of potential for him to do that. Number 5, I think I'm going to go the big Ick. I think he's going to be a really good right tackle, and that's kind of where he's probably going to be slated to play with Andrew Thomas at left, and the Giants kind of solidify that offensive line. Panthers on the clock. They got to go best available tackle, in my opinion. They're going to go Evan Neal. Giants up with the number 2 pick. We got them that tackle. I think they could go a couple different spots. I'm going to have him go edge, and it's going to be Jermaine Johnson. My next favorite edge guy, you guys know I rock with Jermaine Johnson in a pretty big way. He's just a more complete prospect. I get Travon Walker is good, and I get Jermaine Johnson transferred because he couldn't get in front of Travon Walker. But the film you saw about Jermaine Johnson, it was just out of this world good. We're going to take him there. The Falcons desperately need a wide receiver. Looking at not without Calvin Ridley, like that wide receiving group is just really, really weak. And whoever's going to be playing quarterback, whether it's Marcus Mariota, whether it's a rookie, you got to have a better wide receiving group than that. And we're going to go up and get our wide receiver 1 in Garrett Wilson. Seattle Seahawks. This is the more interesting pick. I think a lot of this is chalk so far. We're going to have them go up and get a quarterback. I think it just makes sense that they go up and try to get a quarterback. Drew Lock is not the guy. Now, Pete Carroll traditionally doesn't like quarterbacks who kind of play out of the system. Malik Willis definitely does that. But I think the fit is too good, where the Seattle Seahawks aren't necessarily going to be competing for Super Bowl or playoff spots anytime soon. That's perfect because Malik Willis needs a little time to develop. So you get him in there. Even if Drew Lock starts this year, get Malik Willis's feet wet a little bit. Let him develop because this guy's the only quarterback I see, and maybe Sam Howell too with the arm strength and the mobility. Malik Willis is one of the only guys in this class at the quarterback position, if not the only guy, who can be an elite guy. And that's kind of what you need. You look at the quarterbacks who are winning Super Bowls and are like competing for Super Bowls. It's all the elite quarterbacks. That's what's most important. I think you got to try to get one of those elite guys. Malik Willis is the only one who I think really will be an elite guy out of this class. So we're going to go up and get Malik Willis. I also get the argument of you maybe tank, not necessarily tank, but you're bad for this year. And then you go get another quarterback in that 2023 class that is really good. I could go either way. I'll lean either way with that. The Jets, I really think they have a good argument to double up. Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, those are the best guys available. I know they could also get a wide receiver too, but I think there'll be some wide receivers in that early second round that'll be good. I do think there's going to be a little bit of run on the DBs. And after those top 5, 6 DBs, maybe you could throw Roger McCreary in there. I don't think there's that great cornerbacks in this class. So we're going to try to go up and get one of those studs. And my pick's going to be Derek Stingley. I've been back and forth on Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, who's my cornerback 1. And then you turn on the film from his freshman year, and I'm just like, Derek Stingley's quarterback 1. Don't overthink it. Make it happen. Washington Commanders on the clock. I think this would be awesome. If Kyle Hamilton slips and gets down to the Washington Commanders at 11, I think that'd be a lock. If he's not there, we're going to take the next best wide receiver available on my board, and that's going to be Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave will be great in that offense. Again, him and Terry McLaurin, 2 Buckeye receivers, but it's going to be a great combo because Chris Olave is a guy, he just has the full route tree. He's going to be able to create separation. You don't necessarily need to scheme him touches like a Treylon Burks, even kind of Jameson Williams to an extent, although I think Jameson Williams can kind of separate and run that complete route tree as well. Chris Olave is just a proven guy who's done it for 4 years at Ohio State and has been absolutely phenomenal. This is a no-brainer for the Vikings here at 12, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I think they have a good shot of Stingley, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, or Jermaine Johnson falling. And even if Jermaine Johnson's not there, you got George Karlaftis as well. Houston Texans at 13. This is where if you want to take a shot at Travon Walker, I think you could. They ended up getting Charles Cross, or the top tackle, so you address the other side of the trench. Go get Travon Walker. I like that pick there. That's about where I have Travon Walker. I actually think his ceiling, or his floor, I should say, is a little bit higher than most people because he's going to be good in the run game. Like, you see him stand up tackles routinely, play with good leverage, and not necessarily get in the backfield, but he's always around the football. He's a very good athlete, obviously, with the 4.51. If you can bring him along with the pass rush, I think then you could see him maybe being a top 10 pick. But again, he falls outside of the top 10 for me because I wish I saw a little bit more pass rush out of him. The Ravens at 14. This is I love this pick. I'm going to do it. Jordan Davis, the Ravens, just makes a whole lot of sense. Now, Jordan Davis, I was watching a little Georgia film too, just because I was, quite frankly, bored of the Kansas basketball game. So I was watching a little college football film. He's very good, very disruptive in the run game. Like, he's another guy with a really high floor. Like, he's going to be a good 2-gapper. Now, you don't just draft a 2-gapper in the top 15. Do you think he can rush the passer at a high level? I'm optimistic with how he tested that he can. So we're going to take Jordan Davis there at 14. Again, you won't see teams take him if they don't think they can add that, can you rush the passer? Because you're not going to take a 2-gap defensive tackle with the top 15 overall pick. It's just not enough impact. No, I feel like there's a few no-brainers here for the Eagles. We're going to go Trent McDuffie, and we're going to go George Karlaftis. This would be a great draft. You need the edge position. You need a cornerback position. 2 guys who are probably higher guys on that board fall to you guys, and you go get 2 position of needs and 2 really good prospects. LA Chargers. I think they could go Devonte Wyatt here. I like Devonte Wyatt's game. He's a guy that you see a little bit more of. He can rush the passer at a high level. Just as disruptive as Jordan Davis, because I think his get-off, he's not as big of a human as Jordan Davis is, but his get-off is much better than Jordan Davis's. New Orleans Saints on the clock at 18. Could go wide receiver. I like Jameson Williams. I don't think they should reach on a QB because I think they still have a chance to compete a little bit. We're going to go get Jameson Williams, a guy that if Mike Thomas stays, Jameson Williams he has game-changing speed at the end of the day, and that has value in the NFL. And when you watch his film, like, he separates better than I gave him credit for. My preconception was, he's just a blazer. He can only win with speed. He wins with the underneath routes. He can change direction pretty quick. He's pretty loose. I like Jameson Williams a little bit more than I thought I would. 19, I think you go up and get Nakobe Dean. I think it's a position that they just haven't really addressed. You could also go Drake London here. No, we're going to get Nakobe Dean because I was watching, as I told you, Nakobe Dean is just his film. And the one thing I worry about is if you don't have an elite defensive line like Nakobe Dean had at Georgia, how is he going to look? Like, it's easy to play the linebacker position when your defensive line is just dominating and not many interior offensive line guys are working up. We're going to go grab Nakobe Dean, though. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they certainly could be in the ballpark for an interior offensive lineman. A guy like Tyler Linderbaum, maybe. I think they also could go get a wide receiver. Deontay Johnson's a great one. I think they could add a little bit more depth to that room. Yeah, we'll go get Drake London. I think that's a fair spot for Drake London. And now this is where you're concerned if you're the Packers, because there's a little bit of run on quarterbacks. Now, who's going to be able to step in and play that wide receiver role, which they desperately need at that 22nd overall pick. Patriots, this makes a lot of sense. I've seen it in a lot of mocks. Devin Lloyd, another guy who can really do it all. I've seen the Micah Parsons comps. I just don't think he's quite the athlete that Micah Parsons is. You guys have heard me say that. But the ball skills are really good. He's had, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions in his career. He's a converted safety. He gets his hands on a lot of passes. He can blitz off the edge. He can go sideline to sideline. Checks pretty much all the boxes. We'll go take Devin Lloyd at 21. Packers at 22. Bernhard Raimann makes sense, but I just don't think he'll be NFL ready at that time. And so we're going to pass on Bernhard Raimann. We're going to see what the wide receivers are. Again, that run on wide receivers. Treylon Burks isn't really my guy. I like Jahan Dotson. I think Jahan Dotson is criminally underrated in this draft class. A guy that can separate at a high level. He can win vertically. He can win in the intermediate and short off the line of scrimmage releases. The size might be a little bit of an issue, but you see wide receivers, if you can create separation, size doesn't matter. Jahan Dotson also might have the best hands in the class. Like, this dude has glue stuck to his fingers, catches everything thrown his way. Tyler Linderbaum makes a lot of sense here. He is just, I haven't seen a better center. He never loses reps. He works up to the linebacker. You guys don't need me to talk about Tyler Linderbaum. He's a stud. Everybody knows it. Dallas Cowboys. Good thing my brother's not on the episode tonight, because we're gonna go take Trevor Penning. Still hates Trevor Penning. I think Trevor Penning will be, even if he plays guard for that first year, you're gonna be able to get that run game going with Ezekiel Elliott. Because he's a mauler. I think he's a very good guard. I think he's one of the best guards if he plays guard in the class. And then what you do with him is, how can you bring him along as a tackle? Because he definitely needs to clean it up as a tackle, in my opinion. Get him working with Tyron Smith, another mountain of a man. Can learn some technique, learn from one of the best to ever do it, quite frankly. And Trevor Penning might be an elite tackle in a couple of years, but he's going to take a little bit of development. Buffalo Bills on the clock at 25. Take a look at the cornerbacks. I really think they got to address it. Got Kaiir Elam, Andrew Booth. I like Kaiir Elam's game a little bit better than Andrew Booth. I like the speed. The 4.39 speed really checked that box for me. And can he run with guys vertically? He's long. He's physical. Andrew Booth just didn't put together enough good film for me to go take him at 25. Although if Kaiir Elam's off the board, basically the Bills need to take cornerback. If they take Andrew Booth, I wouldn't complain that much either. Kaiir Elam, Andrew Booth, pretty close in my estimations. Tennessee Titans on the clock at 26. We're going to check that interior offensive line class because I like both of these guys, and this is going to be a little bit of a reach. But we're going to take Kenyon Green because I think Kenyon Green kind of is a little bit more – I think Zion Johnson's the better prospect personally. I think he has a higher floor. He's going to be really good. But I think Kenyon Green fits that what Tennessee Titans are trying to do, which is pound the rock. Kenyon Green just moves bodies. He's a professional body mover, a thick lower half. The Aggies were playing him all over the field, but his film is just absolutely phenomenal. And then I think Zion Johnson makes sense for the Bucs here. I think Zion Johnson makes a lot of sense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a lot of reasons. But he's just a solid guy, the plug-and-play guy week one. This is a roster that is extremely complete. There's not many holes in this roster. I think the interior offensive line is one of those holes with those guys leaving, retiring. Zion Johnson going to come in and fill that hole right away. And now I think Bernhard Raimann makes sense. Again, the Packers might need to be thinking about trading up to get one of those wide receivers because those wide receivers are very good. And now the Chiefs. The Chiefs are also in a little bit of a pinch here because who's going to be the wide receiver there? I'm going to go back to the big board here. David Ojabo makes a little bit of sense here. Like, how far is he going to fall? If you're picking a wide receiver, we'll pick wide receiver first. I think it's got to be Skyy Moore. I want to see the Chiefs get back to a little bit more rhythm on offense. I think last year they kind of relied on a lot of like backyard football where Pat Mahomes was breaking out of the pocket and letting Tyreek Hill kind of run those scramble drills down the field. And it worked. Like, obviously that offense is very good. I think they benefit from a little bit more traditional offense where the throws are out on time. Guys are creating separation off the line of scrimmage. Skyy Moore, not many guys better than Skyy Moore at doing that. Just so smooth off the line of scrimmage. Fastest 10-yard split at the combine. He's a riser, in my opinion. I really like his game a lot. Pick 30, I think they could go Andrew Booth. Best cornerback available. I think they also could take Dax Hill. We're going to check. They have him listed as cornerback, and it just makes me so mad. Daxton Hill I really like Daxton Hill. The more I watch the Michigan games for fun, the more I just think he's just absolutely awesome. And then I think the Bengals could go cornerback and Andrew Booth. Again, they only need his offensive line. I just don't think that's quite frankly, that's just not true. They address the offensive line. There's not many tackles that I'm very excited about coming in and playing immediately, especially now with Bernhard Raimann, Trevor Penning off the board. Pick 32, Detroit Lions. Checking the wide receivers. Do I have to pick Trey? I think Treylon Burks actually really fits what the Lions need. They kind of need a boundary guy who can go up, wing contested balls. Treylon Burks obviously didn't run as fast as people would have liked, but the film doesn't lie. Like, he dominated in the SEC. Yes, he was a little force-fed in that offense, but at the end of the day, Treylon Burks' size and strength, being able to go play above the rim, catch it over DBs is very much enticing. And you got to start setting up for the future. I think the Lions are going to be taking a rookie quarterback next year, whether it's Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. You want to have some bones. They have the offensive line. Now they need the pass catchers. Treylon Burks will be that guy. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars took Aidan Hutchinson, number 1 overall. They also have a lot of concerns. I would just you probably can't take David Ojabo. That's a little early. Jalen Petrie is just a ball player. I really like Jalen Petrie's game. Arnold Ebiketie I really like. Like Roger McCreary. I like Christian Harris. I think we're going to go get Jalen Petrie. Like, you guys hear me talk about him a lot. He's a guy that I've been watching a lot of film on. And he just, when you're looking at taking a guy in that first 40 picks, you want to have a guy that's going to impact the game. There's not many defensive backs that impact the game like Jalen Petrie. He's going to play maybe like a nickel corner or walk down safety role. This dude just gets in the backfield. He gets sacks. He gets tackles for loss. He gets passes defended. He just is always around the ball. He's always making plays, and that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the business of doing. They got to get some playmakers on that team. Now, I think Detroit Lions would have been real happy with Jalen Petrie falling to 34. Jeff Okudah, like, he's kind of had an injury start to the year. I think Lewis Cine, again, didn't get Kyle Hamilton at that number 2 overall pick. Lewis Cine is a guy that he's also a guy that I didn't get enough credit to. My preconception before I got into film on him is he's just a bruiser safety. I think he can do a lot more than that. This one's a tough one. I think we're going to go Lewis Cine. Kind of solidify that secondary. You can't go wrong with the Georgia offensive lineman, to be quite frank. Now the Jets, they went. I got to remind myself who we took. We took Derek Stingley and Kyle Hamilton. I think this might be a good spot to maybe take a stab at a wide receiver. They're obviously quite desperate to get a wide receiver. George Pickens. I like George Pickens' game a lot. I like Christian Watson's game a lot as well. We're going to go get George Pickens. I mean, George Pickens at the end of the day is a first-round talent that just has an injury concern. He went out, worked out really well, ran a fast 40. I think he answered some of those concerns. I think he can go up and take him right now. Giants, we took, I believe, Ikem Ekwonu at that right tackle spot and Jermaine Johnson. They could be in the running for a linebacker, and this might start that run on linebackers. I like Leo Chenal, but I think we're going to go Christian Harris because I think Christian Harris can just stretch the field a little bit more. Leo Chenal's fast. Like, he worked out really well. I think Leo Chenal in my mind, Leo Chenal just plays a little too crazy. He just plays so downhill to the point where it's like a little bit out of control. think Christian Harris, man, when you see what he was doing in the SEC championship game and the college football playoffs, dude was just all over the field. I think he's a first-round talent that just wasn't as consistent as you would like to see. We'll go get Christian Harris here for that 36th pick on the New York Giants. Houston Texans, they went and took, I got to remind myself again, we got Charles Cross at tackle and then Travon Walker. So we got edge. They need help at every position. Travon Walker and David Ojabo would be a freaky group. Jaquan Brisker is really good. Arnold Ebiketie is really good. We might go up and get Arnold Ebiketie. What is the recipe to having a good defense? Is getting after the passer. Arnold Ebiketie, you guys know I like him a lot. The film, the production was just as good as about any edge guy in the class. I think people are mostly worried about how's that physical upside look. He tested really well. He's a little bit undersized, but I think he plays the run game pretty well. He's a good prospect that honestly I would not be surprised if he climbs into that first round pick. Jets on the clock again. Got Derek Stingley. We got Kyle Hamilton. Kind of checked the boxes on the secondary. Sorry, wide receiver. We got George Pickens. This could be the spot for David Ojabo. I mean, like how far is this guy gonna fall? Freak athlete, produced. Like him and Odafe Oweh get a lot of comps. The difference between Odafe Oweh and David Ojabo is David Ojabo produced. He had 11.5 sacks in the Big Ten, and he was dominant when it came to rushing the passer. Obviously, you have concerns about how he's going to hold up in the run game. If he tore his Achilles, I think he's going to take that redshirt year, I guess you'd say, in the NFL, put on some weight, especially in that lower half during the rehab, and come back ready to rock and roll. Chicago Bears, I think you got to get a wide receiver. I would have loved George Pickens here. He's not on the board. We're going to go get Christian Watson, a guy that he's just a playmaker. North Dakota State didn't really let him cook because when you watch North Dakota State, they were I formation, run the ball. They didn't really let Christian Watson get loose a little bit. So falling a little bit. I got to remind myself who we took at number 9 for the Seahawks. We got Malik Willis. You obviously have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but they're seeming like they might be out of the door, at least one of them. Could take a look at the offensive line. That's been a problem for a while there. Not really any guys that I love in that area. Let's check the edge class. Because there's still some guys that I think I have like first round grades on. I think it's got to be Nick Bonito. Oklahoma just didn't use Nick Bonito that well. They didn't have him rush the passer a lot. It'd be like 3rd and 10 and they haven't spotted the quarterback. Absolutely bonkers in my mind. He's a guy that you need getting after the quarterback. I like Roger McCreary's game a lot. Just don't love the idea of taking Malik Willis and then not giving him some talent around him, you know? I want to take Jamari Salyer. I want to take him bad. He's more of a – they have him listed as tackle. I don't think he'll be a tackle at the next level. I think he'll be a guard, but I think he'll be a darn good guard. But I think the Seahawks, they're rebuilding. I think we got to go best position available. It might be Travis Jones. I think it is Travis Jones. Travis Jones is a guy that I don't think I'll be surprised when you see him in the top 40. If you're looking for a 2-gap defensive tackle, I think Travis Jones could be the guy. If you're Seattle, I can see why you're frustrated in like getting a guy that maybe has limited rushing the passer upside. I think he's going to be good though. Indianapolis Colts, they're making a playoff push, right? They get Matt Ryan. You got to kind of get a guy that you're comfortable with coming in and being good right away. Let my brain think a little bit. I mean, it might be Jamari Salyer here. And the interior, I don't think so. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to reel it back in. Boy Mafe he might be worth the risk here. I don't love Boy Mafe as much as other people do. Everyone says he's a freak athlete. In my mind, freak athletes don't stay 5 years at college, but he also tested really well and kind of showed me that he was a freak athlete. I wish it showed up more in the film. I think that'd be a solid pick. I think you could go Leo Chenal here with this pick. I think the Falcons also could have gone Travis Jones if he was available. We're gonna get Leo Chenal, a guy that's I don't love the idea of reaching on linebackers because it's such a deep class. Yeah, we're gonna go get Leo Chenal. Be in the you're in the camp of you're taking the best available. Here we go with the Browns. I think they really need a wide receiver. They got Amari Cooper, but then you got Jarvis Landry out the door. Your next couple of receivers like Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz. Those guys are just not really – they're just speedsters in my mind. I think you want to go get a guy that can separate, be a consistent wide receiver, and get open. I think that's going to be John Mechie. I have him ranked a lot higher than some of those other guys. Yeah, I get the injury, but there's not many more consistent wide receivers over the last 2 years than John Mechie. I think he'd be a phenomenal pick there. We're going to go get Roger McCreary. Here for the Ravens. Roger McCreary is a guy that I think even if he doesn't work out as an outside cornerback, I think he's going to be a darn good nickel cornerback. Yeah, the length is a concern, but the film doesn't lie. Roger McCreary he's just an alpha dog. He's got that mentality. He asked us to cover John Mechie in the Iron Bowl with limited safety help and did a pretty darn good job. John Mechie obviously got the best of him a couple times. But I think he's worth the pick there. Vikings got a Sauce Gardner. I think they might want to look at edge. That's a position that I think they want to retool. I don't love Kingsley Enagbare. I just don't love that edge class in general. That's another thing is like the edge guys, they go fast. It's between Drake Jackson, Kingsley Enagbare. Drake Jackson is the higher ceiling. It's just I wish you saw him like get better. He just didn't. I'm going to go back to the big board here. We're going to take Logan Hall. Logan Hall is a guy that he plays the run really well. He's kind of a tweener. I think he's more of a 3 tech than anything. He can rush the passer from the 5 outside the tackle. He's a good player that I think has a high ceiling. He carries 280 pounds really well. He put on 50 pounds since he's been at Houston. Jaquan Brisker's the pick here. He's fallen a little bit, and that's maybe just I probably should have had him going earlier. But if he's there at 47, I think the Commanders, if they don't get Kyle Hamilton at 11, should think about getting a Jaquan Brisker there at corner. I think we're going to go get Jamar Salyer. I'm so happy that PFF has a little bit of respect on his name. Jamar Salyer is one of my favorite prospects. I also like Darian Kinnard. I think Darian Kinnard, if you want to start running the football a little bit more, Darian Kinnard's that guy. I think he has a chance at playing right tackle, but if you kick him into guard, I think he's going to be really good. I've changed my mind. We're going to go Darian Kinnard. Tevin Jenkins just looked bad, quite frankly. And this might be the time where you take Sam Howell if you're the Saints. You took Jameson Williams there, and then Sam Howell is sitting there waiting to be picked. You might as well take him. Again, I'm high on Sam Howell. I worry about the RPO heavy scheme that he played in, but he's got a rocket arm. He can extend the play. He's going to be a good prospect. Now you might want to take a stab at Drake Jackson. Just the ceiling's a little too high there. I think he's worth the take. I'm getting a phone call right now. Come on now. Mid-show right now. Eagles at 51. Who did we take for the Eagles? We took Dean, Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie. That's a good haul. That's a really good haul for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll take a look at who we have best available here. Did we double up on wide receiver here? Calvin Austin's a guy that I think should be getting a little bit more love than he is getting. Are we going to double up on linebacker? I don't think that's the move. We're going to go wide receiver, and we're going to go get one of my sleeper picks of the year. That's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. He is so tough in terms of being a slot. I think he's going to be awesome. Creates separation really well. He's very, very good after the catch, just extremely elusive. I think Wan'Dale Robinson would be a great pick. Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock at 52. Matt Corral might be the pick. Kenny Pickett might be the – we're going to take Kenny Pickett, see what he can do with the Steelers. Got Drake London. I'm just not a fan of, Mr. Trubisky. I don't know what he's going to do for you. We'll get Trent. Trey McBride for the Packers, I think, is a great fit. He's tight end one for me. He blocks really well. He just does what he needs to do. He's a really solid tight end. I think he's more athletic than people give him credit for in terms of getting off the line of scrimmage, having a little shake to him. I know who we're getting here. We're getting Martin Emerson from Mississippi State. Martin Emerson, length, man. He's a little bit tight in the hips, but I think Martin Emerson is going to be a really, really good, really good quarterback at the next level. This might be the take. We're going to go get Perry and Winfrey. Guy that PFF's not very high on because he probably graded out pretty poorly against the run, but he's a darn good football player. He gets after the passer, maybe better than any interior defensive lineman in the class. I think Brian Asamoah would be a great pick for the Cowboys. They get signed Leighton Vander Esch back, but they're just lacking some of that athleticism at the linebacker spot. If you kick Micah Parsons more to edge, I think this gives the Cowboys a little bit more versatility when it comes to what's Micah Parsons going to do. Move him around a little bit. Have Brian Asamoah, who's great in coverage. He's great at running with tight ends. I really like Martin Emerson's game. This might be the point where you take Kenneth Walker if you're the Buffalo Bills. Kenneth Walker falls. I'm not a huge fan of drafting running backs that high, but the Bills are just in desperate need of a running back. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, we just haven't really figured it out. I don't know if it's necessarily on those running backs as much as it's just we don't really commit to the run. But you think back about how they lost the Kansas City Chiefs. We can't run the football. The other offense is on the field a lot. I think that's a really big hole that we have. Atlanta Falcons here at 58. We're just going to go best available here. I'm trying to think of who my best available guy is. Might be Brandon Smith. Jamari Salyer. They took Jalen Mayfield. He's not. We're going to get Jamari Salyer. He's going to be just a rock-solid guy for a while. He's going to be a 10-year starter at the interior. He's going to be just really, really good. The Pack Show. The guys I really like. I like Josh Pascal a lot. Y'all know I like Josh Pascal a lot. The linebackers are taking a little fall here. Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, I like Calvin Austin. I think he'd be a great slot guy for Aaron Rodgers to work with. He's really undersized, 5'9", 170 pounds, soaking wet. But he just creates separation on underneath routes. He also, with Wan'Dale Robinson, is very tough. I like Wan'Dale Robinson because he's a little tougher. I think you saw him be a little bit better after the catch. I mean, this guy's just silky smooth. Both of them are really, really good with the ball in their hands. We'll go get Cal Austin for the Packers. I wonder if they take a shot at the Marvin Leal. I wonder how much this guy's going to fall. I think we could take the Marvin Leal here. I really didn't like his film. He was decently productive, but what I struggle with him is where is he going to win at the next level? I don't think he can play on the inside. I don't think he has enough bend and burst to play on the outside. I have questions about that. Kyler Gordon, I think Kyler Gordon is going to maybe be a safety. He's a little bit bigger. He didn't test as well as people would have liked. He's a guy that you can do a lot with. Chiefs. What the Chiefs are going to do? Nick Bolton's been good. I think they could take another linebacker. And I love the linebackers around this class. I think this linebacker class is just absolutely loading. It's going to be Channing Tindall. The more I watch Channing Tindall, the more this guy just absolutely pops on film. Very, very good football player. I think Kinsley and Igbari is going to be the pick here. Kenyon Green's got really long arms. He flashes on the film, but then it's just like, it's just not consistent. It's just not consistent. I think that's going to be a problem. And then we're going to go get Quay Walker to round out this draft class. Both linebackers back-to-back, really, really good. And that's a wrap on that 2-round mock draft. Obviously, appreciate you guys rocking with us. We'll have this one up Sunday morning, so you guys can start off your morning. Coffee, Rock Boys mock draft. Appreciate you guys rocking with us as usual, and we'll be back with more content later. Peace.